Halftime Pizza and FightSaga.com proudly present War Week Radio with 5-decade fight trainer James Gogue.
Guys, welcome. Happy Sunday to all of you. Hope all of you guys had a great weekend. I know I did. And tell you what, if it's Sunday evening, guys, that means only one thing. That means we're seeking the council and getting ready for a big fight preview from the master, 5-decade fight trainer, the incomparable James Gogue. James, how you doing tonight, sir?
Hey, Joe, I'm doing good. We got a great show tonight. The big fight next week. That should have been done 5 years ago. You know, they're trying to make it a super fight. You know, like I said, it should have been done 5 years ago when it was in its prime. You know, not overcooked right now, or to the level where, you know, the food doesn't taste as mightily fine. And you know what I mean? But otherwise, you know, it's the biggest fight in boxing so far. It's the biggest fight in boxing coming up. Then it's not bigger than Tank or Ryan Garcia. No. The pay-per-view numbers justify that. 1.2 million they did, Joe? And 1.3. Then we got a lot of controversy on that bullshit stoppage. That bullshit decision, that early Christmas gift by Kambosos, who can't fight. And then we got that controversy with that tape, you know, the way that Inoue, the way they tape the hands and all that shit. So big show on hand. Stay tuned, and got a lot of other shit to talk about in this fucked up world and professional boxing.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And obviously, in our main event of the evening, once again, this would not be Gogue's big fight preview, well, without a big fight to preview. And so, guys, that is our main event of the evening. Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford, the tell of the tape, the keys to victory, and Gogue's big prediction coming up. You don't want to miss that, because once again, in the last 2.5 years that we've been doing this show on YouTube, Gogue's only made 2 incorrect predictions. That is remarkable, Gogue. That is truly remarkable, brother.
But and the thing is,
that streak stays alive with Coach Gogue. Go ahead, sir.
Well, that fucking Joe Joyce, that motherfucker, man, if he would have, not got a swollen, if they would have had a good cut man in the corner to stop that swelling in the eye, that would have been another one. That blemish on my record would have been erased, and the fight was playing out exactly the way I said it would play out. But he started swelling up in the eye. They had this incompetent in the corner who didn't know how to keep the swelling down to keep him in the fight, and it cost him the fight. They had to stop it. But anyway, my record, like I said, one fight I called wrong, and that was that Alarcon Burchell and Valdez and everything. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, Gogue, and once again, you're damn near perfect, and we'll see if that remains so this week with 2 very competitive fights. Once again on Tuesday. That was Stephen Fulton defending his titles at 122 against the monster Naoya Inoue. You obviously picked Naoya Inoue by decision, right?
Now, hey, man, Joe?
Yes, sir.
They had that, press conference. God damn, that Fulton's a lot bigger than the dude. You can see he's got more with size, natural size. So maybe he could take maybe he has the ability to take Inoue's best punch. You know what I mean?
Well,
so we'll see.
And obviously, the first, bit of gamesmanship was actually, the gauntlet was thrown down. The line in the sand the line was drawn in the sand by Team Fulton during the press conference, and they accused Naoya Inoue of wrapping his hands illegally. Oh boy. And this is what his trainer had to say, right? Said, I talked to Fulton about my concerns, and he asked me not to discuss my concerns publicly. He said, you know, my guy said, I don't care if he has bricks in his gloves, I'll still win. As I admire his courage, he went on to say, as I admire his courage, I have to do my job and look out for his safety. In previous fights, Inoue and his team have wrapped his hands with an excessive amount of tape on his skin and then put gauze and more tape, which creates a cast. This is not an assumption. I have proof. We could also wrap our hands in the same fashion, but where is the level of safety for the fighters? If this issue isn't resolved, I will not allow my fighter into the ring. And as a result, Stephen Fulton looked at him like, are you crazy? And he said, further went to say, quote, we are already behind enemy lines. We have made no requests, nothing at all. We have not even asked for a rematch clause. This is the only request that we have made. I would like for the hand wraps to be wrapped in a safe manner, not with tape on the hands or on the skin, end quote. And this is what Team Inoue had to say on Twitter. He said, look, Japan has its own rules. Even in the U.S., there are rules in each state. And hand wrapping methods are different. Our fight is to be held on the 25th. So, of course, I will follow the Japanese rules. And I don't know what this is lost in translation. It says, don't suck it, just fight. End quote. Coach Gogue, before I read any more quotes from anyone else, including your dear old friend, Stitch Duran, or would you like me to read his quote before you actually talk?
Yeah, go ahead and read his quote.
He said, it's bullshit. He said, yeah, you want to create somewhat of a cast to protect the wrist and the metacarpals, keep them from breaking. As long as there's no tape excessively on the knuckle, you can have it between the knuckle holding the gauze together. But as long as there is no tape on the knuckle, and I think the regulation, he said, was an inch from the knuckle. As long as you have that, it's fine. Now, once again, you look at the rules of the ABC Unified. Now, once again, this is not Japanese Boxing Commission rules, but these are, I'm assuming, that the Japanese Boxing Commission rules, once again, this is not a third world country, guys. I'm assuming that they're very similar. So once again, what they say in the unified rules, ABC Boxing, it says this: a maximum of one roll, no more than 2 inches wide by 15 yards in length, of white soft cloth gauze is permitted per hand. That's per hand. The gauze may not exceed the wrist of the competitor's glove. The exposed thumb is an option to be protected. And says a maximum of one roll, no more than 1.25 inches wide by 10 feet in length of white athletic tape is permitted per hand. The tape may not exceed the wrist of the competitor's gloves. Tape may not be placed through the fingers, or tape may be placed through the fingers, but may not cover the knuckles. The exposed thumb is an option to be protected. A single layer of elastic or flex type tape is allowed to be applied over the completed wrap. Approved tape gauze of all brands may be allowed. And that's what it says in the unified rules, the ABC Unified Rules of Boxing in North America. Once again, I couldn't find anything that states the Japanese boxing rules. But Coach, who's right, who's wrong here in your experience?
Well, you know what, Joe? When you tape that, when you tape the wrist, the skin of the hand with tape, wrap the metacarpals in the wrist, the thumb, and across, place tape across the back of the hand, right below the knuckle. It's just to support the knuckles, the tendons, to make them more sturdy, not loose. So when you hit your opponent, you know what I mean? There's more, there's not more, there's protection from impact. That's what I'm trying to say. So, I can see if they're putting some type of weight on the knuckle of the glove, on the knuckle when they're wrapping the guy's hands, to give him the advantage and everything. But you know what I mean, Joe? To put some type of a little bit of extra, hard padding like Margarito did against Cotto the first, or Margarito try to do against Shane Mosley. Okay, but the first time they fought, and Brother Naz, Nassim Richardson caught him, cold-handed, man. But they're not doing nothing like that. All they're doing is putting the tape on the skin. They're wrapping the metacarpals, the thumb, putting tape across, none on the knuckles. It's just to reinforce, support, reinforce the support of the bones and tendons, the metacarpals in the hand. So when he hits the guy, there's not going to be any looseness in the bones, tendons, and metacarpals, which would cause the injury. There's nothing to support it. You know what I mean, Joe? It's like having a knee brace, Joe. Okay, or ankle brace. That's all. It just supports it more. Psychologically, when the fighters, put that tape on, they feel it like, oh man, it's a lot tighter around the wrist. Their hands are more secure with that tape and everything. Then you put the gauze on top of that. But people are saying, oh, it makes your hand like a cast. No, it makes your hand. It feels like it's supportive of a cast. When you break your, when you break your hand, you put a cast on it. It's a support, but it doesn't give. I don't think, me personally, it doesn't give you the advantages of having a cast because it's not heavy like a cast. Okay. No. All it does is give you the support of a cast. See, when you break your hands, first thing you're gonna do is put a cast on your hand for support, like a knee brace. Okay. So you don't, you kind of like immobilize it and you don't cause more damage to it. And that's the same thing when you put these wraps on your hands. I mean, the tape on your hands, then you put the gauze over it. You know what I mean? It's just more support. And, to me, it's dangerous, man. It's dangerous if they put it like some type of weighted padding over the knuckle. Yeah. Because what happens, Joe, as a fight, especially when you're wearing them MX gloves, the horsehair ones, as a fight goes on, the padding in the knuckle dissipates, and you can start feeling the hand pad. I mean, you can start feeling the hand wrap, or what do you call it, the knuckle pad on your opponent's hand. Fighters, people don't know that when you wear them MX gloves. Them Reyes gloves, them MX Everlast, they're made of horsehair. So when as a fight goes on, them things have a history of them horsehairs. They start breaking up, tearing down, breaking down, tearing up, and it starts becoming it starts dissipating. So when you press on the knuckle part of the glove, you can feel the guy's knuckles, the hand wrap. The knuckle, the knuckle portion of their hand wrap and everything, man. Oh, I seen it. I felt it. And if you had some type of extra weighted padding there, hard padding, okay, hey man, that'll mess your face up real bad. Okay, just like when Margarito fought. He got caught trying to put that little plaster of Paris thing, substance, just a little piece in the knuckle area. Now, what happens is they use Reyes gloves. As a fight goes on, it also, starts, Joe, when you start hitting your opponent with them gloves, they start breaking down in the knuckle area. Well, guess what? Hair
starts to separate. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in Cleto Reyes, it was foam back then, but the foam starts really breaking down. And once the foam starts breaking down in that knuckle area, well, if you got that plaster of Paris that Margarito's trainer Javier Capetillo tried to put in there, yeah, you're going to start feeling it on your face in the later rounds. You know what I mean, Joe? Joe, I already told you, but I'm not going to mention. One of my fights, I had big fight. I went, what happens? The rules are when they put on the gloves, you could one guy from each camp can go in the dressing room and and watch them put on the gloves to make sure they're not tampering with the gloves or anything. And the commission guy's there, and a commission guy is there with a official with from the sanctioning body, okay, to make sure they take the gloves out of the plastic or whatever. You know what I mean? Or the night before, you select the gloves you want to use, and they take it out of the plastic to make sure it wasn't tampered with.
Yeah,
but one time,
done at the weigh-in. Yeah.
But the thing is, the next day, man, when they put on the gloves, you're allowed to be there to make sure the gloves weren't tampered with. And one time, one fight, it was a big fight I was in. I'm gonna mention the name of the guy.
You can if you want.
Nah, Joe. I don't want to do that, man. Joe, come on, man. I already,
Okay, very good.
But anyway, when I got in the dressing room, they already had their gloves on. I'm like, hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, because I wanted to see them put the gloves on. Then what I did was I said, hey, let me see the gloves. And they were the fighter was kind of hesitant. I said, let me see the gloves. So he slammed them on my chest. And I felt, first thing I did, I wanted to check the knuckle area. Oh, my God. They tampered with the gloves. I could feel the knuckle pad. Yeah, it wasn't even the first round of the fight. You know what I mean, Joe? It wasn't even I could really feel the knuckle pads. That's something, you usually feel like in the 8th or 9th round of a fight. But I felt it right then and there, man. I said, oh, man. The first thing I said to myself, man, they softened up the padding area of the glove. And when I put my thumb on it, I could feel the knuckle. Oh, Joe, I'm remembering. I'm thinking about it right now. I remember right now. But where were we at? It was in Mexico. Where were we at? Where we're at over there in Mexico, man, they're not going to do nothing, man. So I kind of like, man, fuck it. I just went out there and, man, you know what I mean? They're not going to make them put on new gloves and then. So I just went out there and told my fighters, the manager told me, and they were like, first round, man, he hit him. He started swelling up. Yeah. He started swelling up. Yeah, the first round. Right. Because, Joe, you got to be, like I said, you got to watch all that stuff, man. You know what I mean? When you're especially in these bigger fights, especially in foreign opposition territory out of the country, okay? And me, I checked those gloves, Joe. I felt them knuckles. So that's what I'm trying to say, Joe. You know what I mean? Back, I lost a little focus, but back to the course of the matter is the taping around the wrists and the glove and the metacarpals. To me, that's fine. It's just when they start tampering with the gloves in the knuckle area, or they put some extra hard padding in the knuckle area. So when the fight goes on, you'll start feeling it more. And Joe, guess what happens when you start getting hit by that knuckle? It's like bare knuckle fight. It's like bare knuckle fighting, boy. You cut easy, you swell up easy. Okay, so that shit about it's gonna make his hand like a cast. No, it's gonna make his hand like a cast because it'll support it. It'll support the bones better, but it's not going to give him the same benefit of making his hands like a weapon of a cast. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Did you understand, Joe? I was kind of like,
I got you, brother. And once again, this isn't Mexico. This isn't a third world country. This isn't Venezuela. This isn't Colombia. This is Japan. Yeah, very disciplined, very strict over there, and they adhere by their own rules. Once again, honestly, this is what my brother Brandon Walker, who covers he's a beat writer, and he covers the sport for 210 Boxing, right? He said this. He said, quote, accusing someone of being a cheater in boxing is an absolutely brilliant strategy, saying it sarcastically. He says, you don't need proof, just say it. Enough people will eventually believe it. 99% of boxing fans have never stepped foot in a gym, have never fought, never seen anyone get their hands wrapped, etc. Floyd Mayweather Sr. labeled Pacquiao as a PED cheat after Hatton lost to Pacquiao. Enough people believed it. Deontay Wilder accused Tyson Fury of tampering gloves. Enough people believed it. Yeah. Fulton's team has now accused Inoue of stacking not loaded wraps, but it's obvious what they were implying. So now Inoue's being labeled as a cheat. So if you lose, you didn't lose, you got cheated. And if you win, then you beat a cheater in his own country. Fulton wins either way. Today's age of boxing, an accusation is enough. Maidana cheated against Floyd because he wanted to use MX gloves, which Tank himself uses today. At the end of the day, it's a bunch of horseshit to deflect from reality, end quote. Do you agree with Brandon Walker?
Yes, to me, he's right about it. You know, it's just to me, if you're gonna make an accusation like that, you don't do it at the press conference. You do it in the dressing room the day of the fight, man, to get the guy sidetracked. Okay, that's when you start making a big fuss about it. Okay, you're getting the raps and you start complaining about it and this and that and this and that. Hey, man, you know the fighter starts. You know what I mean? He loses focus on the task at hand. That's when you start creating that. What do you call it? Mind games, as they call it, man. You don't do it. You don't give them a warning beforehand. You do it in the dressing room, man. You know, you should like brother Naz did when excuse me, when Mosley fought Margarito. He went out there and saw that, you know, he right off the bat he knew they were cheating. He said, when Brother Naz, I talked to him back then. He told me when he felt the knuckle of the padding, he goes, "Oh no, oh no." You know, that's when he felt it, Joe. See, that's what you do, Joe. You feel the padding of the knuckle, and when he felt it, he goes, "Man, this doesn't feel right, man. It was way too hard." So he made him do it again. He put he pitched a bitch, created a big old commotion in the dressing room. Margarito was, losing focus and started flipping out like, "What's going on? What's going on?" You know, and he made him cut the wraps off. And when they cut the wraps off, they found that little plaster of Paris substance on the knuckle. Yeah, Brother Naz is, you know, he's a smart guy. When he felt that knuckle pad, he's like, no. That's what you got to do, basically, man. Okay. And, you know, from experience, Brother Naz knew something was wrong. You know what I mean? And that's what you got to do. You got to, you know, when they're in the dressing room, you know, you check when they're wrapping their hands, you're there. When they're done wrapping, you start feeling the hand wrap. Okay. You know, an experienced trainer knows what's normal and not normal. Then here's the thing. When they put the gloves on, you get your ass back there before they put them on to make sure that, you know, they're not tampering with the gloves. Especially if you're in foreign territory, man. I take the gloves. I tell them, "Hey, I'm going to come back. Do not put the gloves on until I'm here." And before they put the gloves on, I would take the glove and check everything to make sure it's all right. Make sure they didn't fuck with the gloves and, you know, smash them in the knuckle area like that one time I experienced. Then when they put the gloves on, Joe, what I do is first thing I would do is feel on the knuckle. Okay. Now, yep. if it's padding there, that means they didn't fuck with the gloves. But if you could feel that the knuckle area is kind of like softer than normal, all mushed up, and you could feel on the knuckle of the opponent's hand wrap, nah. First, take them off. Get another pair of gloves. I would explain it to the commission. Look, this is not normal. Okay, push on it. You could feel his knuckle. You could feel his knuckle pad on his hand wraps, okay? Okay, what do you think's going to happen when he hits my guy with a first punch or jab? My guy's face is going to swell up, okay? You understand, Joe? That's the process, how I would do it from experience.
But you know what? And Tim Bradley just went on this absurd diatribe last night saying that, yeah, it's cheating. Stephen Breadman Edwards also chimed in. And honestly, and it's become a huge misconception among fans, Coach, that just stacking, it doesn't enhance your power for some strange reason. Fans seem to think so. Can you put that to rest, please? And once again, we're not talking about illegal hand wraps. We're just talking about stacking guys.
Look, when you're like I just said that, Joe, it reinforces, supports the bones and the metacarpals and the tendons of your hands. It doesn't make it like an illegal weapon, like having a cast on when you put your glove on. Okay, adding that extra weight. All right, it's just support. That's all. Just like an ankle brace, elbow brace and knee brace and everything. Psychologically, opponents, I mean, your fighter feels good about your hands being more secured, meaning he could punch harder. Okay. He don't, especially if he has a hurt hand going into the fight. You know what I mean, Joe? That extra tape around there, it helps out. But I mean, how heavy, Joe? How much weight does it add to the wrap? Okay. All that tape around. Exactly. A couple ounces. Yeah. So,
yep.
That's my opinion.
No. That's fact, actually, Gogue. Once again, brother. Look. And we're not going to go into Margarito right now, guys. But look, our brother G Funky, guys, if you can, post the link. To your. He said, look, I've done shows on Margarito's situation. A lot of things that the media didn't cover. That's absolutely right. And it all came out during the hearing, right? So once again, G-Funk, if you could post your link to the chat, I would really appreciate it. And once again, G-Funky does a lot of great work, research on that. Did a lot of research and did a lot of work.
Hey, Joe, like I said, right after that shit happened, man, I saw Brother Naz at a show. I walked to him and he told me the whole story, just like I told you. Yeah, when, somehow Capetillo snuck that little piece of they got his eyes distracted, and he snuck that little plaster of Paris right in that knuckle area, and he didn't see it. He did not see it until he felt it, the knuckle area on the padding of the hand wrap, and he goes, "Oh no." He said it was hard as a rock, and so what he did was that's when he caused a bitch, made him cut it off, and caused all that commotion. And what happened was Eric Gomez, the vice president of Golden Boy, or the president of Golden Boy. What happened was he told me he had, he was summoned in the dressing room, to get involved with this bullshit. He said it was like chaos in there, man. Margarito was all flipping out. He was, he lost his focus. And right then and there, the odds, advantaged Shane Mosley, man. Shane was calm and cool, focused. He didn't give a shit. He was ready to go. But they made him wrap the hands, and he goes, "Hey, Gogue, you've been around in this shit." He goes, when somebody tampers with the what do you call it? The wraps, the hand wraps, and when something ain't right. I said, yeah. He goes, the same thing with Brother Nassim. Yeah. He saw, he knew it, and he was right. His suspicion was right, proved him right. And he was a fucking hero after that. Brother Naz, he was like a fucking hero in boxing after that.
Yeah. Also, he did the same thing. Well, not the same thing, but he did something similar, right? With Hopkins before the Tito Trinidad fight. Yeah. Right? Gogue, you there?
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, he did, Joe. He was complaining about how they wrapped their hands. You know what I mean?
Yep. And it's different from New York, different from Texas. Yeah. And they were fighting in New York, obviously. So you just gotta be in there and know and have a commission there, a guy there that knows what he's doing, not some young buck they just hire off the street. You know what I mean? But and have an experienced commission guy, and in case you got to complain about something, he understands what you're complaining about. And as a trainer, you just got to watch them, man. Wrap their hands. I've been in dressing rooms, man. Great fighters, man. I mean, they didn't pull that shit. Yeah, well, your brother Stitch Duran, and once again, when you were talking about your old fight, what year was that? That was in the early '90s, correct?
Which fight? It depends on which. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the one that you stated that you didn't want to list names, right? I will say this. Don't be shocked, guys, because once again, Gogue's dear friend Stitch Duran, he's going to be working the corner of. He's going to be the official cup man for Robeisy Ramirez, so he will be in the house. Don't be surprised if Team Fulton hires him to be their eyes in Noya Inouye's dressing room. Don't be shocked if that happens, right?
I don't think so, Joe. I think he's just going there to work with they're not, with Robeisy, man. You know what I mean? The guy, his coach will probably be there, pitching a bitch. You know what I mean? If something doesn't look right and everything. So.
Yep. Well, yeah, like I said, well, you may be right because Stitch Duran, he's very good friends with everyone in the business, and yeah, something tells me he wants it to stay that way.
Well, Joe, he works for Top Rank, okay? He's a top ranked fighter. Why, you know what I mean? Does it make sense?
That is true. That is very true. Thank you for pointing that out, my friend. So I tell you what, there it is, guys. According to Coach Gogue, yeah, it doesn't do anything to enhance your power. And unless he cites something with the rules showing an obvious violation, he really doesn't have anything to complain about. In my opinion, as well as Coach Goge's, it's a bit of gamesmanship. And once again, he sprung it on them at the wrong time. You don't pick the press conference. You do not alert them to this. You spring it on them right before the fight. Correct?
Yeah, just like Naz did with Margarito Mosley. Yeah, you cause all that commotion in there. You get the fighter sidetracked and, getting them all, panicking like Margarito was. I heard man, look, Joe, I bet you Margarito knew Capetillo was doing that. He was freaking out too when he got caught. That's what I heard from the reliable sources that were in that in the dressing room. Okay. Well, Joe, when you get caught red-handed, man, you go like, oh shit. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this also. Last thing I'm going to ask you about this, and then we're going to move on to our main event of the evening. Let me ask you something, Gogue. Is there any one way to wrap hands in your experience?
And there's all types of ways, man. I've seen some damn good hand wrappers in the days, man. And everybody has a different, a style protocol on the way on wrapping hands and everything, man. There's, as long as you use the amount of tape that's allowed and the amount of gauze allowed, yeah, you can wrap it any way you want, and apply the tape according to the rules. 1 inch below the knuckle or a ½ inch below the knuckle. You know what I mean? Yeah, I've seen some great hand wrappers in my days, even back in the days, like guys like Norm Lockwood, Will Edgerton, old time guys. They were excellent wrapping hands, man. Then Stitch Duran, later on, and there's so many of them, man. Nah, man, shit, yeah. It doesn't look, Joe. It doesn't take a genius to be a hand wrapper. All you got to do is practice, and you become proficient at it. Like my boy Joe Kimbo, the guy that works for Dave McWaters. He wraps the hands of Teofimo Lopez and all their fighters. And yeah, he called me one day a few years back, asking me, getting advice on how to wrap hands. I said, look, man, the way you do it is, I gave him a couple YouTube videos to watch, okay, that friends of mine did. I go, Joe, but the way you really do it is go in the gyms and wrap the fighters' hands. Practice on the fighters in the gym. I'll buy a shitload of gauze and tape and tell the fighters that you just want to practice and do your, develop your own system. Go in the gyms, wrap their hands. And I said, start wrapping the hands for all those fighters you got. You got like 50 of them. Start wrapping their hands. And the more you do it, the better you get. The more you do it, the better you master your craft. Now, Joe, boy, he wraps real good hands and everything. And Teofimo is the only guy he trusts to wrap his hands and everything. And all those other bitches that McWaters has. And but anyway, and next thing you know, I told him next thing you need to do is learn how to be a cut man. So that's going to be his next endeavor, being a cut man in boxing. But it ain't got to be a fucking man. I know a lot of guys, good coaches. I mean, a lot of coaches that can't coach worth a shit, but they can wrap some damn good hands.
Yep. I tell you what. Guys, there's not just one way to do it. Once again, as long as you use the accepted amount of gauze and tape
required,
as long as a required amount, yeah. As long as you leave an inch away from the knuckle, and you don't have it all the way down the forearm. Who gives a shit? It makes no difference. That's it. It's there to protect the tools of a fighter.
Yep.
This is a whole lot of nothing. So, guys, we're moving on. And once again, well, did you want to mention, or do you want to go straight to the, do you want to mention George Kambosos, Maxie Hughes, or no?
Fuck that.
We'll just go to
Nah,
the
man. Look, Joe, people are listening in. They want to go to the big fight next week, all right? That's the fight. I think we spend a little bit too much time on this stupid shit. And the big fight, you know what I mean, is what people are tuning in for, not this fucking hand wrap bullshit controversy. It's a bunch. We spend a little bit too much time on that shit. Now it's time to go for the meat and gravy.
Yep, reality, guys. Reality. It's time to go to reality now. Let's dive away from fantasy land and let's start talking about something that's real.
Yeah,
like
man.
Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. It's on tap for this Saturday night, July 29th. Guys, it's going to happen at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Finally, only about 5 years too late. But guys, here's a tell the tape for one Terrence Allen Crawford. Guys, Bud is going to come to the ring at age 35. Holy shit.
Oh, man.
He fights out of the southpaw stance sometimes. He stands 5'8" tall in the center of the ring, fights behind a lengthy 74-inch reach from Omaha, Nebraska. He comes into the ring with a perfect record. 39 wins, 0 losses, 0 draws, 30 big wins coming by way of knockout. Coach Gogue, what are the pros and cons of Terrence Bud Crawford?
His versatility, the best ambidextrous fighter in boxing, the best switch hitter, could go right to left at the spur of a moment, and you never know when he's going to do it. Okay, but what makes him so effective is not only his ability to switch hit, but his jab, his lead hand. His jab is just effective from the left-handed position or the right-handed position, okay? It doesn't miss a beat. His skill level doesn't miss a beat from the right-handed position or left-handed position. Joe, you see a lot of guys nowadays, they try to go back and forth. As soon like they're right-handed, all of a sudden they go to southpaw. The motherfuckers can't jab. They don't have a jab. I mean, you know what I mean? What's the use going back and forth if you ain't got boxing's number one weapon? Crawford has boxing's number one weapon from the southpaw or the right-handed position. Oh, it's effective, okay? And he uses that jab pretty much to control range and distance along with his footwork, okay? And he uses that jab to start figuring you out on what's going to work for him and everything. But I always said a fighter with a good lead hand, a dominant lead hand, is going to be a hard guy to beat. And Crawford has the ability to go both ways. He's a great counter puncher, step back counter puncher. He throws beautiful combinations, different combinations. He'll attack the body when he hurts you real good. When he hurts you with some shots, he'll come by. Then he'll start tapping that ass and that body to break it down more. But it's his versatility, his ability to change looks during a fight. For example, he's in the right-hand position, and if he feels that you're gaining any type of momentum in the fight, he's going to switch back to southpaw, okay, to stop your momentum where it's at. He's going to put a halt to your momentum, okay? All right, when he switches, when he makes that switch, because Joe, look, you're fighting in the right-handed position. All of a sudden, that guy's making, hey, this guy's gaining momentum. Okay, I gotta stop it. I gotta stop it right in its tracks. I'm gonna switch to southpaw, and let me tell you, it you know what I mean. Now the fighter's got to adjust. He's not in the right-handed position. He's in the southpaw, and the fighter's got to change his game plan now. All right. Yep. Yeah, and all that momentum, the rhythm, and all that momentum, and that rhythm he was in, he's going to lose it. He's got to, now he's got to get back to working to get that momentum on his side. And Crawford has a very good instinctive knack on how to shut your momentum down. Okay, bring it to complete halt. He has that innate ability, like Shakira Stevenson, Floyd Mayweather, Andre Ward, to control range and distance. Okay, he's just God-given. You can't teach that. But the thing is, like I said, Joe, he has that ability. He's a chameleon, the game's best chameleon. He knows how to adapt. He knows how to, in a fight, different scenarios always change. He knows how to adapt to the scenarios that change in a fight. Okay, and he knows how to throw every punch in the book. Okay, because when the scenarios in a fight change, okay, you gotta have the ability to throw different punches at your disposal to adapt with the scenario. Okay, I might be talking over a lot of people's head and everything, but let me try to give you an example. For example, you're boxing beautifully on the outside, you're controlling range of the distance. All of a sudden, Spence, he slips inside. Well, guess what? Them punches that are working at long range and distance from you ain't gonna work at them same punches that you were throwing at range and distance ain't gonna work with you at close quarters. So you gotta switch up the type of punches you're gonna throw at Spence when you're in close quarters. Okay, them short, compact punches, short, compact combinations, the uppercuts, the hooks, the body shots. Okay, and it's best to hit a guy like Spence, hit him from all angles so you don't see those punches. That's the ability to change, adapt to the changing scenarios in a fight. Okay, the ability to not only adapt defensively but adapt offensively and change your offensive game plan. Okay, like that fight, Joe. I'm going to tell you this right now. Spence is going to have to, put his foot down, draw the line in the sand, make a stand. He can't run from Crawford all night. He's going to have to, battle him in the trenches. Mano a mano, baby. Okay? And he's got to, I'm not saying he's got to stay there the whole fight, toe-to-toe, and fight Spence's fight, because that's what Spence wants you. He's got to be able to hold the ground when he has to, whoop his ass, then pivot around him and take it back outside. He's got to get Spence's attention. He's got to get his respect. Okay? And he ain't gonna get Spence's respect if he's running the whole fight. Yep. He's got to draw that line sometime in the fight. I don't know when it's gonna be, but he's got to get his attention and respect. And Spence is a bully. What do you do with a bully? You punch him right in the fucking mouth. Let him know I ain't the one. You're not gonna take my lunch money, bitch. You know what I mean? You try to bully me. There's a price you gotta pay. But you don't want to try to get in a street fight, a war with a toe-to-toe war with Spence, because he just doesn't have the artillery. I think he just doesn't have the artillery long term, especially in a championship fight, to fight that effectively at that close range. His is going to be range and distance. But if the fight does go in the pocket, he's got to draw the line. He's got to make a stand, letting them know, and he's got to hurt this guy too. He's got to hurt this guy somehow. Find a way to hurt this guy, and it's going to be set up with his beautiful jab. If he can control the jab from the right-handed or left-handed position, I think that's just going to make the fight easier for him. And once you control the jab, Joe, it's just going to set up everything offensively for you so much better. And it's going to keep Spence out of position all night where he can't get that range in the pocket to work effectively. But anyway, Crawford, he is the game's most intelligent chameleon. A guy that could adapt to all the different scenarios that happen in the ring, all the changes that happen in the ring. He's got the boxing IQ and the ring smarts to do that. And like I said, there's only 4 fighters I've seen in the last, 20 years that have that ability to control that range and distance real effectively. And, Ward, Crawford's one of them, Shakira Stevenson, Floyd Mayweather. There might be a few others, man. You know what I mean? But them 4 guys come into my mind.
Dimitri Bevel's pretty damn good.
Oh, Bevel too. Yeah, Bevel too. Yeah, Bevel too. Yeah.
And there it is. So we got the not only pros and cons of Terrence Crawford, but also the keys to victory. And guys, I can assure you, yes, sir.
I didn't say everything. He needs. If you want to make it a complete,
no, we'll go back to it then. We'll go back to it with the keys to victory. And so in your mind, just by listening, it looks like the only con from Terrence Crawford is, would you say, his game on the inside? That's the only wild card, right? That's his chink in the armor. He's not as proficient on the inside as Errol Spence Jr.
Oh, without a doubt. That's why he better stay out of the corners. He better stay off the ropes. He better not keep himself a stationary target. He needs that mobility, okay, to keep at range and distance. Okay, he needs to work. He needs to have his feet free, okay, to roam around the ring. All right, he can't have it stuck he can't have it stuck in the sand like a punching bag where, you know. It's going to be easy work for Spence. And Spence, he's so one-dimensional. I mean, he's.
Well, I can't say. Don't give it away yet. You're going to rattle off the tape now for the 3-belt champion, the IBF, the WBA, and the WBC welterweight champion of the world, Errol, the Truth, Spence Jr. Guys, he's going to come to the ring at age 33. He fights out of the southpaw stance. Stands 5'9.5" tall in the center of the ring. Fights behind a 72-inch reach, originally from Long Island, New York. Now residing out of DeSoto, Texas, which is in the DFW area. He's going to come to the ring with a perfect record. 28 wins, 0 losses, 0 draws. 22 big wins coming by way of knockout. Coach Gogue, what are the pros and cons of Errol Spence Jr.?
Spence is an intelligent pressure fighter, okay? He works behind that basic fundamental, okay? He mastered the basic fundamentals of intelligent pressure, putting it on his opponent. An intelligent pressure fighter, like I said, over the years, he developed that skill set, okay? Works behind the jab, proficiently, you know, closing the distance, has good footwork, shuffling in, patient, okay? And he also steps back out of range when he sometimes just to throw you off instead of just coming forward all the time like McGilbert Chubb, where you're so predictable, where you're so predictable and your opponent can catch you coming in. Spence, sometimes he'll take 1 step, 2 steps out of range just to make you miss, just to throw your timing and rhythm off. But Spence, once he does that starting off, but once he feels he could put the pressure on you and you're not going to throw back, that's when he starts taking it up another notch. Works behind his jab, feints, just fundamental stuff, closes that distance, and he counters you too effectively. When he's coming in and you try to counter and you overreach, you overreach, he'll step back and counter you. But mainly when he starts feeling that that you're not going to throw back, he's not going to take a lot of income and closing that distance. That's when he'll start putting that pressure on you. He'll start slipping them punches more. And once he gets inside, he's a devastating body puncher. Very, very solid body puncher. Those the compact punches, the uppercuts, the hooks, the body shots, hits you from all angles. Okay, and he's a very creative combination puncher. When he gets inside, that's his bread and butter. Okay, if you want to compare it to football, he mastered the power running game. He loves to pound the rock. He loves to run that football between the tackles. Okay, and that's what Errol Spence. But he does it intelligently now, man. Okay, he just doesn't walk straight and get hit with a lot of punches, so he can get close to you, so he could deliver his big bombs. He does it nice and intelligently with his hands up behind a good jab. With good footwork, moving in and out of range, and when he closes that distance, he has that innate ability to when to put the pedal to the metal, and close that distance more fast than normal. Okay, because he'll go at a certain pace, then all of a sudden he'll pick up that pace and close the distance quicker. Okay, all right, that comes from experience. That comes from instinct. Okay, Okay, when you're starting off, you're taking your time. You're trying to figure out your opponent. You're trying to figure out what he's doing, if he's trying to catch you coming in. But once you got a good feel for his timing, rhythm, his speed, that's when you start turning. You start putting the foot to the pedal to the metal, and you start closing that distance faster. He knows how to change the speed on closing that pressure. Okay, he's just not one dimensional, one speed. He knows when to take his foot off. He knows when to put his foot on the pedal. He knows when to take his foot off the pedal. And that's one of the things I like about him. But once he gets there, boy, he wants you on the ropes. He wants you in the corner. He wants to make you a stationary target as much as possible, so he can do what he could do what he does best, and that's inside fighting. Bombs away, short, sharp, crisp combinations. Compact combinations, the body, head, body, hitting you at all angles, and he's a very, very good body puncher and everything. But to me, he's if you're smart and you got a good set of eyes, you can capitalize off his strengths and turn it against him.
And there it is. Since we're talking about Spence right now, would you like to just go right into the keys to victory for Errol Spence Jr., and how on earth does he offset, the brilliance and the ambidextrous nature of Terrence Bud Crawford?
They've been preparing for it. I could see Derek James, when they're working the pads in that open workout, he was going right-handed, left-handed, and everything. Okay, giving them that look. You know what I mean? Hey, when he switches, okay, number one, you gotta be aware of it, like in a tenth of a second. Okay, all right. So, he's giving them that look. So on fight night, it's not, oh my God, he switched. You know what I mean? What do I do? He's giving them that. He's giving them that feel. But man, fighting Terrence Crawford and hitting the hand pads or sparring are totally different, night and day, man. You know what I mean? But it's good to get that type of feel. Like I said, when you're sparring, not only have a right-handed sparring partner, but have left-handed, switch it back and forth to give you that look. But when you're fighting when you're a guy like Spence, it don't matter if you're right-handed or left-handed. Okay, it don't matter, because when you get in the pocket, you're all the same. All right, so it's all about taking as little incoming as possible when you're closing that distance. Okay, so yeah, but
that's a very good point. Can you actually repeat that, Coach Gogue? What happens to your southpaw advantage or that orthodox advantage, that different look when you close the distance?
It don't matter. I mean, the range, it matters. Okay, but when you get in the pocket, that right-handed position or that left-handed position don't mean shit. Especially Crawford. He's not he has shown me to now that he hasn't been a proficient inside fighter. Now, if he got great inside fighting skills from the right-handed position or left-handed position, okay, no problem. Okay, that means when Spence gets in the pocket, okay, he can draw that line, meet his challenge, bust them up, then take it back on the outside, neutralize Spence's strengths. But he doesn't have that. The proficient inside fighting skills of a guy like Spence, who could stay in the pocket from round 1 all the way to round 12. Okay, that's what Spence wants. He's naturally a grinder, boy. He loves to run that football power running game between the offensive tackles. So it ain't gonna matter if he's right-handed or left-handed. The thing is, Spence is, can he close that distance without taking a lot of incoming and getting hurt? Okay. So.
Wow. Indeed. So now, guys, we look at the keys to victory for Terrence Bud Crawford. What did you leave out from the first time, Coach?
And Spence is pretty much, if he does get him caught on the ropes or in the corners, man, he telegraphs his punches, especially his body shots. He'll start loading up on him, man. I'd catch and counter. You know what I mean? Depends if he's in that southpaw position and Bud's pinned on the ropes. Number one, and he can't find an escape route. He better get in a good defensive position when he's on the ropes to protect himself. He better not stand high, because if he stands high, he's gonna get caught. So it's when Spence, gets off that, throws that right hook to the body. Shit, man, catch and counter right up the middle, or catch and counter with a hook. For example, let me give you an example. Let me try. Okay, Bud is on the right-handed position when he's stuck on the ropes, and if Spence throws that right hook to the body, okay, he better be in a good defensive position where he could catch that left hook to the he better be in a good defensive position where he could catch that right hook to the body, so he could catch and counter it with a left hook, like Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor did to Jose Ramirez. You know what I mean? He would counter when Jose Ramirez threw that left hook to the liver. Josh Taylor just blocked and countered it with a right hook back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. I mean, Crawford, Spence is there. A lot of guys, they don't see that shit because they're so fucking terrified and they don't have the skill sets to execute this. When Spence puts that pressure on them, it gets them nervous. It gets them fidgety in the ring. Okay, and that fear starts up, coming upon them. It's about survival instead of being smart and taking advantage of these tactics, catch and counter tactics, because he's there to get hit. I mean, that's what I see. He throws that right hook to the body. If Spence is Crawford's in that southpaw position, he throws that right hook to the body. I'd catch and counter with a straight left uppercut. Or that's what I would do. Catch, sit down good, catch, and come back with that left uppercut. Okay. If he's in that right-handed position, like I said, catch and counter with the catch. If he's in the right-handed position, I catch and counter with the. Let me see. I'm in the right-handed position. He throws that left hook to the body. I catch and counter with the left hook to the head. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. So it depends on what position he's in. If he's in that southpaw, catch and counter with the left uppercut. If he's in that right-handed, if he's in that right-handed position, catch and counter with the left hook. I might be getting technical to all you motherfuckers out there listening, but this is coach's talk. But the catch and counters, Joe, the catch and counters should be there. Whether he's countering them body shots or Spence, he throws them hooks to the head. Shit, catch, counter with uppercuts, catch, counter with hooks, catch, counter with fast, sharp combinations. Pop, 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 pop. Okay, yeah, that's what he's got to do, something to offset that power running game, to offset them body shots. Okay, Spence, when he throws them body shots, he likes to break you. He likes to chop the tree down. He likes to hit both sides of the body. Okay. Mm-hmm. So basically, you better be in a good defensive position to catch them body shots with your elbows, so you're not taking the full impact of them body shots, to your liver. And Jesus, man, a guy like James Toney would feast on Earl Spence. The catch counters, catch counter with the right hand, catch counter with uppercuts. Oh, guy like James Toney with those advanced counter catch and counter skill sets. He would feast on a one-dimensional fighter like Spence, man. And Crawford, he's got that type of ability. He's got them type of eyes. He could see that. So if somehow he could exploit those strengths and turn them into a weakness, you know what I mean? But like I said, I'm not in training. I don't know what he's doing and everything. He showed me against that Artesian, that last fight. He showed me when he knocked him out. He held his ground in the pocket. The guy, the guy threw an uppercut. He leaned back a little and came back with a left uppercut, right hook. That's the stuff he's got to do in the pocket, Joe. Stuff like that. Lean back, make a miss, and come back and counter, or catch and counter. Okay.
Yeah.
When he's in
his last opponent was David Avanesian.
Yeah, but Joe, the thing is, he's got to he got to have good defense in the pocket where he could just lean back from those punches or block those punches to the head or body and come back with counters, man. Yeah. And that's when you could take advantage of a guy like Spence, who's, me personally, Joe, he's wide open for that shit. James Toney, he would have a field day against a guy like Spence. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it would be real easy work. I don't, we'll see if Crawford capitalizes off it. We'll see.
Well, when you're bringing up the legend, lights out James Toney, well, I can't think of very many fighters who could fight proficiently off the ropes like he could.
You fans out there, you want to see a proficient demonstration high-level skill sets fighting off the ropes. Watch James Toney when he fought Iran Barkley. Oh, my God. That is world-class boxing at its highest level. Yeah, that's 21st century technology, okay? Not to, and the catching counters, blocking counters, the different types. He'll block the right. He blocked Barkley's right hook, counter with a hook. He blocked Barkley's right hook, counter with an uppercut. He blocked. He rolled with Barkley's right hand, counter with the right hand.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's the kind of. That's if Crawford could do this shit, it's gonna be real easy work. Real easy work. Yeah.
Holy shit, real easy work. That's something I got to see. And once again, guys, what makes this fight so intriguing? And yes, Marcos Chaz, yes, this is an intriguing matchup. And if you don't think so, well, you might be on the wrong channel, son. Man, what makes this fight so intriguing, guys, is no one up to this point, guys, has ever been able to impose their strategy or will on either man. They're undefeated and have bested each and every single opponent up to this point. To be honest, I can't imagine either man losing at 47. That's what's so intriguing, guys, because someone, unless it's a draw, of course, someone more than likely is going to get the big L on their resume. Who's it going to be? We'll find out what the coach thinks after looking at the odds. Guys.
Hey, Joe.
Yes, sir.
That just tells you how advanced and what a badass James Toney was. If he fought in this era, he would. If Crawford, Spence were in his weight class, he'd eat him up. Canelo, easy work. I mean, all them fucking bitches. Okay, he would eat them all up, man. Toney was a fighter, man. Not only a fighter, but a highly advanced skill set. A fighter that was equipped with 21st century technology, laser guided bombs, baby. Okay, he totally his skill sets. He would eat both of these fucking guys for lunch, Toney. I'll tell you how bad he was.
James Toney, the legend. Absolutely love it, Coach. Absolutely love it. And I tell you what, before we get the coach's prediction, let's take a look at the betting odds. Let's consult our favorite sports book. The BetMGM. Now they have the widest margin I can see at this time. They've got right now Terrence Crawford at a minus 175, and they've got Errol Spence Jr. at a plus 136. Right? But there are sites that have much tighter odds. And FanDuel.com. They've got Terrence Crawford only listed as a minus 136 and Errol Spence Jr. as a live betting underdog at plus 124. Wow. So, Coach Gogue, what is your official prediction for this Saturday night's main event from Las Vegas, Nevada at the T-Mobile Arena? Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Bud Crawford. Who do you like? And how does the fight play out, sir?
Well, I'm going with Crawford because, like I said, he's a multi-dimensional chameleon. He has the ability to adapt in that ring. He has the ability to adapt to all the different scenarios that play out in the ring. How the scenarios change, second by second, moment by moment. He has the ability to adapt fairly at a highly sophisticated skill level, okay? Intelligent, boxing IQ. What else? Ambidextrous. A highly skilled ambidextrous fighter who has the ability to control your range of distance from both sides. His jab is, like I said, is just as good for the right-handed position and the left-handed position. And Crawford, like I said, to me, mobility is going to be the key. Staying out the ropes, staying out of the corners. Don't be a stationary target. Establish that jab. That's going to start getting him in the rhythm to figure out what he has to do. He'll figure out when he's in that ring what he feels is going to be more effective. What stance to work out. What stance to fight out of, whether it's the right-handed position or the left-handed position. But to me, Joe, it's the position where he has control of that jab. Okay, if he's in control with the jab from the right-handed position, he's going to stay there all night. But if he feels he's at the southpaw position, he's in better control of Spence using that jab. He'll stay at the left-handed position. But me personally, if he's in the left-handed position, it gives Spence an advantage to use his jab more effectively, okay? Because when you're at the right-handed position, the angle your body's at, your jab is not effective on a right-handed fighter. So it depends. Yeah, like I said, Crawford, boy, I can't predict what he's going to do, what stance he's going to fight out. You just got to let the fight play out. But that's basically what he has to do. Main thing is just basic fundamentals. Stay out the rope, stay out of the corners, keep everything in the center of the ring, work his jab effectively, work the step back. Because Spence has a habit of, overextending himself when he throws that left hand. Take advantage of that. Okay, step back and counter. Catch him in with catch Spence coming in. If he's in that southpaw position, catch him with that counter left hook. That counter check right hook. Or if he's in that right-handed position, hey, man, Spence gets a little wild, catch him with that counter check left hook. You know what I mean? That's the different weapons, Joe. He could throw all this shit from the right-handed or the left-handed position. He could do. You know what I mean? He just has more weapons and dimensions to his game that more like the one-dimensional and a half Spence has to offer. Which is basically a power running game and a limited passing attack. Okay, Crawford's arsenal is 21st century technology, man. Yeah. He knows what weapon to pull out of he knows what weapon to pull out of the arsenal when he needs it. Okay, but anyway, I'm going with Crawford because of his ability. To be the better chameleon, higher boxing IQ, multiple dimension attack because of his ability to go right-handed or left-handed. He just got more to offer now. And if he does that shit I've been telling you, and neutralize that power running game of Spence, them roll counters, catch counters, that's just going to make it even easy to pick apart Spence and everything. Okay, but we'll see. We'll see, Joe. Spence is, like I said, he's just a one-dimensional power running game, little bit of throwing the ball, but pretty much predictable for a skilled guy like a highly skilled predator like Terrence Crawford. But anyway.
Well, and there it is, guys. There's the Gogue official prediction. He's picking Terrence Crawford by way of decision.
Yeah. Terrence Crawford.
By way of decision, guys.
Yeah.
More than likely, guys, fights at this level, matchup at the elite level, unless they're a heavyweight, most of the time they don't result in a knockout. Sorry, guys. And there's a reason why the over-under is 11 rounds. Okay?
Yeah, Joe, man, if he executes any resemblance of a catch and counter or roll counter, that's going to help him. That's going to help his, that's going to help him to the road to victory a lot easier. Okay. You know what I mean? Cause you're going to neutralize the strengths of what Spence brings to the table, man. That's what you got to do. You know what I mean? You got to neutralize those body shots. You got to neutralize that pressure. It's the body shots, hell, man. Josh Taylor, man, he did it beautifully, man. Catch and counter when he fought Jose Ramirez. Yeah, it's there. A lot of people don't do it. A lot of his opponents didn't do it because they don't know how to do it, and they let that pressure get to them. Then they get panicking because they don't have basic fundamental trench warfare skills, and they definitely don't have advanced level fundamental trench warfare skills. Okay, all right. James Toney, baby. That's all I got to say. Watch him. Okay.
And there it is, guys. And there it is. There's Gogue's official prediction. And he's picking Terrence Crawford by way of decision, guys. And once again, the sports books, most of them would agree with you that this fight is indeed going the distance, guys. And you know what, Marcos, Joey Chaz, once again, like clockwork, comedy in the comment section. Joseph, I love boxing, but don't sell me this trash. The fight is 4 years too late. Look, brother, I agree. It's marinated a little bit longer than my customary liking. But if you think this fight is trash, that's all right. Nobody's perfect. I remember when I was a novice fan and I didn't know what I was looking at in the ring. You might get there though, brother. Just keep listening to the coach.
Well, this guy must be a younger crowd, okay? Older, a younger generation of a fan. But in the olden days, man, yeah, most old timers like me, man, they wouldn't have. This fight wouldn't have been hot because they wanted fighters, super fights, to fight when they're young in their prime, like Sugar Ray Leonard when he fought Tommy Hearns the first time. Hearns was 24, 25. Leonard was 22. Come on, man. That's
yep.
You know, I mean, that's more like it and everything.
Yep. Like I said, and who's to blame for that, coach? Now, once again, guys, this is not good. The number of businesses who aren't showing this big fight, right, are shockingly slim to none. Once again, we were planning on having a fight party with all of my fighters for South Park Boxing, right, and AAA Promotions. But it looks like that may not happen because apparently they are charging an absurd amount of money to Dave and Buster's. They want to charge them full fire marshal capacity.
Hey, Joe.
That's absurd, coach.
Like you said, Joe, a lot of, in a big super fight, all the bars, all the restaurants, they show the fight, okay? Sports bars.
This is not good.
They're not doing it this time, am I right?
Nope, they're not doing it, and it's shocking, guys. This is, and once again, boy, everyone involved, especially Steven Espinosa, who has nothing to do with the gate. He has nothing to do with the site fee. He doesn't get a penny from that. He's on the hook for this thing, $20 million.
Well, guess what, Joe? What you told me about, can I say it, Joe, or not? Don't.
No. Just, just don't mention any names.
About one individual was worried that at the press conference, open workout, there wasn't a lot of mainstream press covering the fight. That's not good,
right.
baby.
That's not good at all.
Go ahead, talk about that, Joe. Yeah, you know better.
Guys, and once again, I already talked about it on the Thursday night show with Brother.
Well, talk about it again, Joe.
Yeah, there it is, guys. And once again, it was alarming. The number of mainstream. Now, once again, all of the customary fight coverage, they were all there at the media workout. They were all represented. Leave It in the Ring, or no, what's it called? Behind the Gloves, Ring TV, Fight Hype, Fight Hub TV. All of them were there. What was missing, though, was the mainstream coverage, the mainstream media outlets. None of them were there to cover this event, not even ESPN. Guys, that's not good. That is not good. Keep in mind, they seem to be covering the Poirier UFC card that's going on the same night, July 29th. This is not good, guys.
Oh, no. Yeah. So hey, Joe, again, UFC's is their business. This PBC, they don't give a shit about that. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a very good point, guys. That's a very good point. And without the support of, the mothership, ESPN, the America's largest sports network, covering this fight, you in trouble. Now, this says it all, Gogue. And once again, we talked about this. And once again, my brother, Boxing Source, KO Artist Sports, and Fighter IQ was there at the workouts. I don't know what the hell that is. Is that are those mainstream media outlets? I don't know, so.
Joe.
No. I'm talking about CBS. I'm talking about Fox. I'm talking about ESPN. I'm talking about big time mainstream media outlets, TMZ Sports. I didn't see anyone there. Neither did this gentleman. No, yeah, and he's $20 million on the hook for this thing. Guys, you asked for this fight. You asked for this. Please financially support this fight that you guys have been clamoring for. Because if you don't, well, good luck getting another fight like this. Yep.
Hey, Joe, what were the what are the pay-per-view numbers they gotta do to break even?
Oh boy. For 20 million Rock, look, their research team, and they're hoping to get between 500 and 600,000 at $85.
Just to break even?
Yep.
They'll probably get 400,000, 450.
Yeah, well, look, Boxing Source has the beat, and want to thank my brother for joining us. And also, guys, if you haven't heard our show this past Thursday, it's still up. Go check it out. He says, I know a good majority of the media that were there, but there were indeed no major media outlets there. And you made a great point about ESPN not being there. And Gogue just, and I told all of you why. Gogue just did. Because UFC has a fight that same evening, a pay-per-view that same evening, and they're in the UFC business.
Yeah.
That event is being featured on ESPN, or I'm sorry, on ESPN. What is it? ESPN Plus? Is that it?
Yeah. No, ESPN. Main they didn't get no ESPN Plus. They do ESPN Main, baby.
No. It's the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view is.
Oh, it's a pay-per-view. Okay.
ESPN Plus, yes.
Oh my God, they're doing pay-per-view. They're going straight up head-to-head pay-per-view. Who do you think's gonna win?
Well, look, guys, if this is any indication, look, the cover of Sports Illustrated. Okay, and the same month as Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. Guess who's on the cover of SI? Not Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. No. Jake Paul is on the cover of SI. And he's going to be featured on pay-per-view on DAZN next weekend.
Hey, Joe, that just tells you what sad state boxing is. That never used to happen in boxing, okay? Boxing was in the combative sports, boxing was king, baby. Hagler fought Hearns. That was front page mainstream, okay? Yep. Ali fought Frazier. I mean, and so on, Duran, Leonard, so on. Now, you got a fight that's what do you call it? Way past his prime. It's not in their prime. Well, people ain't gonna give a shit about it. And guess what, Joe? You go to all the bars, they're gonna be showing the UFC fight, not Terrence Crawford. Am I right?
That's right. And once again, it's boxing once again shooting itself in the foot, demanding way too much, charging fire marshal capacity. They want businesses to charge per fire marshal capacity per head. So what do you think business are going to choose to do? What do you think they're going to show? Yep.
Oh, UFC.
Poirier versus Gogue. Yep. That's it. They're going to choose to show that.
Hey, yeah, Joe, that's something good. That's something I didn't know about. I never thought about is all the mainstream bars that you usually see the big fights pay-per-view. They're not showing this fight. Oh my God.
Yep, oof. Guys, we were planning on staging and hosting a fight party at Dave & Buster's in San Antonio. Now, they don't know if they're going to show it any longer because why? Well, Showtime is demanding too much. They're demanding too much. And once again, Jesus, I hope that comes to fruition because the one in San Antonio, they're thinking of not showing it any longer. We might not have that fight party. And also, gentlemen in our ECB DeVoe, a gentleman who frequents all of the fights and is a great fan, and he financially supports every single event. He was planning to go to Dave & Buster's in Pasadena. He's told me they're not showing it either. That's not good, guys, because Dave & Buster's, they actually showed Ortiz versus Ruiz.
Oh, man. Yeah.
They're
not good at all, man.
This one. This one's too expensive, they're saying. This is not good, guys. So once again, do your part. If you love this fight, this is the fight that you've requested from Showtime, PBC, everyone involved, please financially support this endeavor, because I guarantee you they will be looking to include, if you don't come through, if you don't put your money where your mouth is in this instance, then you will see more events like Jake Paul on Showtime. They will make more of an effort to try to include a larger mainstream and casual demographic. And that's the God's honest truth, guys. I'm telling you, I know this for a fact.
Or these motherfucking fighters that ask for these, outrageous purses, they're not going to give it to them. They're going to, hey, this is what we're going to give you, take it or leave it, because we're tired of losing money on your overvalued ass. So,
yep, guys, I'm sorry. Neither man deserved that big $10 million guarantee. I understand that this is the toughest fight of their career, potentially, right? On paper. Whether it plays out that way, that remains to be seen. Anything can and often does happen in the theater of the unexpected, that squared circle. But they don't deserve $10 million. They haven't done enough monetarily. They haven't put up Canelo-like numbers. They haven't. They don't deserve 10 million Rock. Think about this, guys. Charlo is making $5 million to fight the biggest draw in North America. $5 million. Terrence Crawford. Yeah, he doesn't showcase. He's never produced the kind of numbers that Canelo has, and he's making double what Charlo is making. Guaranteed.
What kind of money is Canelo making?
Oh, gosh. In 3 fights, my guess he's making over $30 million. Now, it's supposed to be, the deal, from what I've been told, is over $100 million for 3 fights.
Oh, shit. Oh, they might lose her ass on that one too, man. But,
we'll see. We'll see. But look,
Canelo,
but look, Canelo consistently produces and attracts a much larger mainstream and casual demographic. These guys don't. Once again, there's a reason why mainstream media outlets are not covering this fight, and we'll know more on Fight Week. Who knows? Maybe they were just waiting to show up in Vegas during Fight Week. But in my opinion, those media workouts, boy, that really told us a lot.
Yeah, Joe, that's alarming. And not only, like you said, about the mass, what do you call it, mainstream media not showing up, but all the big bars and restaurants that usually show big super pay-per-view fights, they're not showing it. Oh, that's huge. That's big time alarming.
Yeah. So guys, do your part. If you love this fight and you've been asking for it and you approve of this fight, please do your part and financially support this endeavor.
But they're not, Joe. They're gonna pirate the fight.
Well, you know what? They more than likely will. I'm not referring to my extended Warwick Radio family. No, I know they're better than that. But yes, the great majority of boxing fans, the overwhelming majority. Okay? The overwhelming majority. Yeah, they're not purchasing a damn thing. So guys, you can't expect to be the real bosses of boxing anymore if you don't financially support the product any longer. Now, Boxing Source has a ray of hope. He said the mainstream media had better show up since I didn't get credentialed. You know what? That is a good sign. Not that you didn't get credentialed. My apologies. But there was an overwhelming request for media credentials. So that is a ray of hope.
Yeah, but Joe, a lot of them are, if Kelly likes you, you don't even have to be Kelly Swanson. If she likes you, you don't even have to be big. If you got a podcast, you don't have to be big. She'll credential you. You know what I mean? Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, well, Jesus M., welcome to the program, sir. And my apologies, guys, for not greeting all of you individually. We just had a lot to cover and not a lot of time to do it. He says, I'm done with boxing if we have to beg to get a fight and say they have to sell. Well, how do you think fights are made, brother?
Yeah, but Joe, big fights automatically sell themselves. Now we're begging motherfuckers to watching it. Nah, fuck it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Big fights,
yeah.
super fights, they're super fights because they automatically sell. They're natural draws. Tony Lopez versus Jorge Paez back in 1990. That was a natural draw. It sold out a week. It sold out a month before the fight. Without social media, once that fight was made, it got hot and tickets were gobbled up. And a month before the fight, it was sold out, 18,000. Super fights are automatic ticket sellers. You don't have to beg these you don't have to beg the fans to buy the fights.
Yeah, look, Jesus M, you don't have it right though. You don't have it right. This is the reality of it. You say, I'm done with boxing if we have to bet. No. Boxing is done with you. Get it right. Boxing is done with you guys. If you don't financially purchase this thing, boxing is officially done with you guys. I can tell you with great certainty from what I've been told, get used to seeing more events that include YouTubers or guys who are Instagram personalities in the ring. Because that does much better business than these fights of this nature lately.
That's short term. Long term, if these motherfuckers don't overprice themselves, then they'll be willing. The big networks will be willing to start putting them on.
Something has to give. You're absolutely right. Something has to give. Once again, the numbers, if they don't support you asking for a guaranteed $10 million, then guess what? You're not going to get it. Okay? Sit on the goddamn bench then. Pardon my French. Get on the damn bench. Boxing doesn't need you. Boxing doesn't need any more prima donnas asking for way too much, basically ensuring that the network loses money in this endeavor. Okay? Those days are done. Once again, Steven Espinoza, in my opinion, made a terrible mistake in granting this guy who couldn't draw flies to shit, who has never had a successful money-making pay-per-view, giving him $10 million guaranteed. He made a huge mistake, in my opinion. That's it.
Well, Joe, let's call it a night. That's their problem, not mine, if they lose money. They'll live and learn. So,
and there it is, guys. There it is, guys. Let's just hope for the best. Let's just hope for the best. And guys, we really hope that you do your part. But guys, what did you think of Gogue's prediction? Please list your prediction in the comment section. And guys, your parting shots for our listening audience this evening. And once again, Coach Gogue, thank you for that brilliant preview and brilliant breakdown. We love you, man. There's no one else like you, brother. Thank you for all of your time on this channel. And thank you for devoting this time to our extended War Week Radio family. Your parting shots, my friend.
No, I'm just waiting for the Inoue fight. That's going to be interesting. First few rounds, I want to see if he can hurt this Fulton, naturally bigger guy from the, the pictures I saw at the press conference. And of course, this overdue Spence Crawford fight. Now we'll find out. We'll find out who the real 147-pound champion is and everything. But that's about it and everything. Long night, and I got a lot of shit I got to do tomorrow, man. I got to call it a night.
Now, we want to thank you for your time, Gogue, as usual, brother. Brilliant job. And guys, in case you missed any part of it, go ahead and rewind right now, or you can listen to the replay all week. Guys, on behalf of the incomparable Master James Gogue, I'm Joseph Herron. You've been listening to War Week Radio. Have a great week, everybody.
Lifetime Pizza and FightSaga.com proudly present Royal Week Radio with 5-decade fight trainer James Gogue.